G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors. But of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates, and a rare and special breed these two idiots are, particularly this one. You in bed? Are you in bed?
Greetings.
Put your pants on.
Mr. Brett Perry?
Am I in bed? It's quite civilised, actually. I'm having a lovely meal cooked by my host, one Nigel de Curvain Collie, and just enjoying a glass of red wine. I've got to say, the ups and downs of yachting, the hardships and all of the things we go through, I've just realised today that I've had the greatest day of my yachting career. I loved it.
Wow. Jeez. Yeah. Are we going to talk about that? Should I bring in the other bloke before we talk about that?
No, bring him in. Bring him in,
all right.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice?
All right, I'm very keen and eager to hear BP's story.
But I want to tell my own first.
No, I'll tell mine after, because it's just been a sad day in the sad week in the Bice household. But we'll move on. Go BP. You know, give us your uplifting story just to really inspire us for the rest of the day.
You know, I've been through a fair bit over the last few years, and it's been tough. Put a lot of effort into a project, and today I actually went out sailing and enjoyed myself on boat number 6, which is the Canadian boat that's going to Canada for Scott Shore, and we did our final test today, and I just realised that I really love the boat. That's it. I feel happy, and I'm in a good place.
Well done. And you sold another one, I hear, too. So
yeah, we're going okay.
Going all
Bar
right.
X2, get on it. That's what they're saying. Yeah,
that's what they're saying. The word's out.
And let me guess your bad news, boss. What, the Defender? You bought another Defender?
Did you? Is that what it is?
No, it wasn't a Defender, but it has
Mitsubishi Lancer.
Something to do with an automobile. Look, I'm the first to admit I'm a bit of a bogan around town, and every bogan, as you know, has to have a Holden Commodore.
Oh, yes.
Of which I know Holden Commodore wagon. She left the household.
Gone. Traded in.
The blue one.
She's gone. And
the blue one's gone.
She went on the back of a truck.
Oh.
To the wreckers.
Just, I brought one of those.
What did he do?
No, it's had one of the had the light come up on it for about 8 years now, and so I brought one of those tools that you can just keep swiping the light away. Something to do with the emissions and blah blah blah. So I wasn't too concerned about it.
Yeah.
Until last trip I was away, I get home and Flick's like, the Commodore's sounding a bit rough. So I have a look on the dipstick, not a scary caboil.
Oh. You idiot.
And yeah, she sounded a bit rough, all right. Yeah. She's gone.
Two of the 6 cylinders of stopped.
So old mate just turned up with it wasn't necessarily a wad of cash in his pocket to take it away. But off she goes. Old Greenie, she's gone.
Oh.
Fair world. Yeah.
So you've updated to a new, more modern Commodore?
Yeah, new Commodore wagon. Exactly.
No.
The next year up. No, negative. No. You know what? A few years ago, I hired this particular car. I thought, what a fantastic automobile. Kia Carnival.
Oh, good on you.
Oh, mate. All I could think about in the car yard was the boys are going to love this on a golf trip. We are going to have to hire a driver, but this will be ideal.
Kia Carnival. Dear, oh dear.
Is it red?
No, Negatoro. We got a white one and put a PV sticker on it so I can do a bit of moonlighting, bit of Ubering in my spare time.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Yeah, the Commodore.
Right, move on.
All right. Hey, I got to tell you, boys, I changed some people's worlds yesterday.
Oh, yes.
I was killing a little bit of time, wandered through a shoe store, and they had the rack of shit for sale on the wall, like getting stuff out.
Rack of shit for sale.
You know, shoes that I've the few leftovers. And the shop attendant comes over. She's a little. I was in a running store. She's a little fit runner, and she's sort of about half my height. And she said the way she approached me was, "Are there any questions I can answer for you?" And I said, "Yeah. Can you tell me why every running store in the world puts the big size shoes right at the bottom level and the smaller shoes right at the top level?" And she's gone, looked at me, and then she called a manager over and asked the question, and he's looked at me, and they've gone, "Why do we do that?" I said, "I can reach the top line. You don't need. You just flip everything around." So anyway, yeah, I think that store was doing a remodel just as I walked out. It was just a game changer.
Well, yeah, it's because we're in the
sailing podcast.
Because we're in the southern hemisphere, whereas in the northern hemisphere they do that.
Oh, do they do that? Yeah, good.
Yeah,
southern hemisphere backwards.
Yeah, and toilet goes down the water goes down toilet the other way as well.
That's it.
So there you go. Hey, just like.
Hey, we got to get on to our guest. I mean, our poor guest is sitting there listening to us crap on for so long, and appreciate him being so patient. He has the patience of youth. So he's just sitting there on his
video. There's a lot of time on his side.
He's on his video games. He's not even paying attention. I'm not sure if we're going to get a word
on TikTok.
Yeah, TikToking the whole thing. We've gone the youth approach again. We like to try and bring in lots of different views rather than sort of old blokes.
Us old pricks.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like last week was a real buzz for us, just getting to talk in detail about the Cup.
Absolutely.
Yep. We're sort of Cup and Olympics focused going forward for a little bit, I think. But so this time we were sort of trying to work out what to talk about, and that big nosedive by the Kiwi youth team got us all excited. Where they split the main and bounced, reversed the AC40 out of the water, all that sort of stuff. So we looked around, and we hadn't done an Aussie for a while, so we thought, we might jump onto one of the Aussies, and we've got on the line. He's current 49er junior world champ, which is always a good sign for the future.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah.
Yep. National champion, 5 national champs across a whole range of classes recently. So in the Opties in 2017, then the 420s a couple of times, and then the Falling Wasps a couple of times. And he is a member of Team Australia Challenge, which is one of the teams competing in the America's Cup in the youth and the women's, and this person is competing in the youth. I don't think he's a woman. So we are very happy and he doesn't know us real well, so poor bugger's been sitting to it here listening to its crap on, and we appreciate his hospitality. Welcome to the show, Jack Ferguson.
Thank you. No, pleasure to be here. And I must say, you guys are pretty entertaining to listen to anyway, so it's
so you do know us a little bit.
Yeah.
And just straight off the bat, you've with your sailing partner from the 49er with Jack, hanging out with his old man John Hildebrand. So yeah, he talks as much crap as us. So he must be used to that sort of behaviour.
I got to say, John actually taught me how to do it.
How to talk crap.
Yeah.
Your future's bad, Jack.
Anyway, enough of that. That'll pop up later. Hey, mate, pretty exciting times. Your this opportunity that's come up is it the highlight thus far, or yet to be realised?
Oh, absolutely. The whole experience so far alone has definitely been a highlight of my short and sweet sailing career. It hasn't been too, but yeah, I mean, for me, since day one, the dreams have always been the America's Cup route. So I'm pretty proud to be going down that pathway.
It's a big deal.
So, well, obviously, now, how old are you now? What's your age now?
I've turned 21 this year.
21. Okay. So when did this all start? Let's say Optimist, 7, 6, 7?
Starting the Opti at about 9.
9?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking, so we're 20, we're 11 years in.
Yeah. At Northbridge Sailing Club. Don't know if you know the place, but
and very well.
Yeah, a little gem of up in Middle Harbour.
A little bit of God's country there.
Yeah, exactly. The only place where you can get 4 breeze directions at once. So yeah, it's pretty cool spot to learn sailing growing up. That's for sure.
Well, it is a lovely part of the world, Middle Harbour. All those for international listeners, if you ever want to get down to Sydney and go and check it out, Middle Harbour is a beautiful place to go and see. Okay, so 9 years old, taking it on. You've gone your first sailing experience. Did you enjoy it from day one?
Yeah, me personally, I did. Didn't take me long to catch on. And yeah, from then on, just was always about getting out on the water, whether it was, before or after school, anything like that. My sister, on the other hand, she's probably a bit harder to convince. Plenty, plenty of tantrums and tears over the years, but she's also come around to love it. So that's cool.
Tantrums.
What's the just back to kicking off? How did you start? What, your oldies were into it, or it was some mates into it?
Yeah, no, my dad's been pretty big into sailing over his life, whether it be windsurfing or just yachting on the harbour, twilights, a little bit of offshore stuff too. So I've been very fortunate for him. He's supported me the whole way through, and he knows what it's all like. So yeah, it's my dad that drove it all.
Did he? I mean, let's get real here. Did he push you hard? Did he just guide you and say, "Listen, there's an opportunity here. The world is changing, and professional sailing is an opportunity." Did he give you that sort of option, or you just took it naturally?
Definitely took it naturally. He never really forced anything on me. I think I'm probably pretty happy to say that he always provided the opportunity to go down the new pathways that were forming.
Nice.
Yeah, always just kind of was there in the background, being supportive. But yeah,
Mate, it's a thing that is a game changer for many of us. We've all lived it, where we sort of grew up sailing, and it changes your whole perspective on life. Like do you get grief, like when you were going through school or uni or whatever? Did you and you tell other kids you love sailing, and they're all footy or rugby players? I mean, I suppose you don't follow rugby league in New South Wales because you're not much good at it. But
well, let's talk about rugby league for a second. That guy flattened that bloke last night, eh?
No, sorry, that was just. I know Chris Links will be screaming at at this right now. But anyway, yeah. So in terms of like that sort of conversation when you're at school and stuff, was there our era, we cop grief, I think, but in your era, I think everyone's a bit nicer to each other. Is that everyone encouraging, or everyone going, what the hell's sailing?
Yeah, I mean, a bit of both. There's a question of how many Sydney Hobarts have you won so far?
Yeah, that question, yeah. Yeah, get that all the time.
That's a good one.
And I'm 50.
Yeah. No, I've definitely had a good group of mates that are always very supportive of it going through school. Yeah, I think the understanding is probably always the part that people miss of just what we actually do and what's going on. I went to a nice school where everyone was sort of understanding, and I didn't always do the normal sports. So I've been pretty deep in the sailing since I was young. So
yeah.
What? Love it. Awesome.
So when did it click for you? Like when you were out there having a yacht, sailing along, and you're suddenly going, oh, hang on, I'm starting to understand this, or have you not got there yet?
Probably not yet. It's just, I can't think of a single moment where it did. Since the beginning, I've got a bit of a competitive nature myself, but when as far back as just trying to smash all the other kids in Greenfleet down at Northbridge, I can't think of a standout moment between then and now where I've gone, oh, this is something I want to do. It's just pushed on since.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's cool. All right. So you're sort of going the whole, to my eye, like you're going through that program where you started in the Opties, through the 420, which is a good little boat to learn. You've brought foiling into it. You're doing the 49ers. It feels like you're following the pathway to the Olympics. Is that what sort of, are you just following the Australian sailing program and you're the next superstar, or how are you making the decisions on what boats to go sailing on?
I kind of tried to base it off history, looking up at guys like Nathan Outteridge, and your Peter Burlings, and just sort of decided what boats to go with based off the guys that I kind of hold up here.
Yep.
Yes, but that is kind of the natural progression pathway, I think, in Australia. I think it was slightly odd that I went for the 420 and not straight for the skiff, considering the culture we have here on Sydney Harbour. But I just really wanted to build that technical background in my
I love that. Great.
It's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Symmetrical sailing. Love it.
Probably cop more flack for sailing a 420 amongst other sailors than I did for sailing at school.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say cop more flack from sailing 420s at school from rugby players.
Yeah, no, everyone's what's a 420? What's that mean? Yeah. Then very fortunate that even was actually when I was still in the Opti that my dad, he's always kind of known AMAC and used to race him a little bit over the years in the Moths. Was pretty quick to catch on to the whole Wasp buzz.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a boat. I think it was late 2016, which is pretty early, and I spent as many days out on that thing as I could from that time through to
right.
Probably 2022 is when I stopped sailing that.
What are you laughing at, Jay?
Oh, I'm just thinking, how cool it'd be just to live that life, like it's just this. We talk about all the pathways and what makes a great sailor is that just getting out in the water, as we've all said it over and over and over again, and every guest proves it. And, whatever boat it is, as long as they're out there having fun, and that Wasp is exactly that. Like Wally's was that for us.
The Wasp keeps raising its head, doesn't it?
It does. It's popping it up, and I think it's a cool thing. I was interested though. You mentioned sailors from the past like Nathan Outteridge, and Pete Burling. When you go to the Cup, obviously those guys are going to be floating around. Who's your favourite sailors? Like in terms of.
This is a really cool question.
Yeah, like if you who do you reckon are the coolest sort of thing? Like your absolute legends.
And you can say one of us, it's fine.
I knew you were going to say that, BP. I was.
No. Yeah. Go on, Jack. On you go.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, Tom Slingsby. You can't knock him. The things he's done over the last kind of since probably
you were born.
Yeah, exactly. Growing up under that, it's been quite a thing to watch and behold. I've definitely got a bit of a soft spot for Nath and his kind of vibe and temperament.
Yep.
Personally, I like to kind of align with that sort of style.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then Pete and Blair, I think, honestly, coming from a 49er background as well at the moment, knowing what they've accomplished over the last decade is just really something incredible. And I aspire to be more like these guys in every way I can.
It's nice. I mean, you've picked well. Like they're all pretty good, and I love the mention of Nathan's temperament. That whole Outteridge family are just a classy bunch of human beings. Who's the worst sailor? The one you like least?
You can mention one of us. That's when you meant to say BP.
But if you wouldn't mind, can you mention Jordan? No, that's a horrible question.
But I'm sure I'd.
No, don't answer.
No, it's okay. He's only joking. He likes to do that because he's been reading lots of books.
All right. So let's talk about life on the 49er. Once you jump onto the 49, you started doing the circuit, going overseas. How are you funding that, mate? Is it hard? Is it easy?
Yeah. So starting with 49er, it all happened for me when COVID hit. The current 420 campaign kind of got thrown out of the bag just when the pandemic hit. So I was looking towards new opportunities, and I got a call from Max Paul, who was sailing with TB for a portion of this quad, just to come out and try the 49er. So sailed that thing, trained at home for 2 years, and towards the end of that, just in the lead up to Tokyo, the games, we were fortunate enough to get a whole bunch of the Olympic guys over for some training camps in Queensland in the Gold Coast of Mooloolaba. And that included, the Phillips brothers who were going for Australia. We had Pete and Blair come from across the ditch, which was pretty incredible to see how they along with some other Kiwis, and then Leo and Ibu from Japan.
Takahashi. I'll just correct you there, but Mooloolaba is on the Sunshine Coast. That was where I think who was it that rolled which coach rolled the boat through the entrance? Was that trip?
Yeah, it was that trip. Yeah. I got to remember. I think it was Mal Page.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was Pagey.
Malcolm Page.
Yeah, because Pete and Blair, I'm on one side I'm the opposite side of Mooloolaba, Minyama. So Pete and Blair were just literally 2 houses down from my place. So they'd come in by boat. But that's a good little camp, and so you've obviously got to sail directly with some of those guys who you sort of look up to. Was that a sort of eye-opener in how they do things?
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching Pete and Blair pretty closely and how they treat their equipment and their gear. Every single afternoon they'd fully drop their mast and wipe it all down and clean it all with acetone and water and everything, and make sure everything was all aerodynamically ideal and all that kind of thing.
Right.
Bringing some of that cup, knowledge through to the 49er. So that was pretty cool. But I will say we had one race in a kind of a training regatta we had. We finally took one off them. And I remember we're going up the last beat. It's probably 15, 16 knots. And somehow engaged in an attacking jaw with them. And I got to say, my boat handling at the time was not particularly slick. So from about a 200-meter lead at the bottom mark, we got to the finish line, probably only a boat length in it, but I'll take it.
I love it.
But what an experience, hey? So do you? Okay, I've experienced that as well, where you are sailing against some of the greatest sailors on the planet, and the pressure.
Thank you, BP. I appreciate you saying that about me.
Yes, no, against you was a big one, but I did beat you. No, I'm only joking. No, but the point is that you learn from that, and you learn how to manage your headspace. That's the key to it, isn't it? Headspace is the key.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's not that you're worse. It's not that you're a worse or better sailor than them. You just got to try and manage it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes here and there, but the ability for you see those top guys, the ability for them to just get it done.
Do you remember every tack you did?
Yeah, I could go play by play.
Go on, run through it.
No.
Yeah.
No, only jokes. But my point is that he's out there, he's coming at you. You've got a lee bow option, or you've got you've got a cross, or you've got a cover. All those things you've got to think about, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Against the world's best.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing with the 49er, of course, is that the level that fleet sails at now, when you talked about that, your crew work not being the best, to execution on a 49, because it's quite a simple boat in the layout, so it's easy, you can execute perfectly. And a lot of the top teams have got to that stage where they're doing everything perfectly. So, you just have to watch a mark rounding at a 49er world to see just how good things can be done. And so, what BP sort of discussed a bit there is that it's almost, sailing with Pete and Blair, against Pete and Blair or the other guys, it changes your perspective on how you should be sailing a boat, like that exposure changes your mindset, like you go from, this is good enough to suddenly, hang on, I've got to wipe my mast down every night.
Yeah, we refer to something we like to call gold medal standard.
Right, there you go.
You come back to that scale, and there's a long way to go in every aspect of that.
Bicey, you'd be pretty happy about this whole concept of wiping down your mast every night now that you're the Southern Spars guru.
I actually got a suggestion. You should do it with sandpaper and they finally wear out, so you get a new one. No, I mean, just touching on that, and we won't spend, but it, no matter what, whether it is an opti, but obviously to get that kind of that cup mentality specifically in boats like 49 or the Olympic classes for that matter. But it doesn't stop there. I mean, you'll see tomorrow in St. Tropez all the maxis getting ready for Duralia. There'll be guys up the rig. They'll be doing exactly the same thing. They'll be preparing the boat to the exact same level. And it's just one of those things that it's not all out on the water. A lot of it's actually on the shore that gets it done out there as well. So it's a good little lesson for everyone. And I think, Jack, that's probably something you'll take through for your whole career now. I think that gold medal preparation, or whatever the exact term was, into anything you do. So it's a good lesson learned.
Yeah, pretty happy to take that one away from those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you implemented that? Obviously now you're starting to get some results. You're starting to get to a sort of an age where you're starting to put your foot down. You are implementing that. You're working with your crew and you're saying we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and it's all happening for you. Yeah.
Just finding that, especially as I get older, just being super accountable to ourselves and to the team. It's kind of the most important thing. So saying we're going to do all this stuff is good as long as we actually do it.
Yeah.
Are you seeing other teams do it as well when you go to these events?
100%. Yeah. There's
perfect.
There's definitely a layer of meticulousness that's built, I think, across sailing over the last few years at least. I mean, I can't really say much, but it feels like it's really gone that direction where all the fine details are really, really carefully thought about and ironed out.
Good.
What you're saying is when I had my 49er back in 2000, getting off the water, taking the sail down, pulling out on the dock and going and having a beer, that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, there's a time and place, I think.
I like it. I'm interested. I mentioned just before that going out and sailing makes you a good sailor. One of the things I reckon, and I've always wondered, and I'll be interested if you have it, is that having a sailing gang, a group, some mates that you sail with that encourage you. You'll go out together, or you talk sailing together. Like do you have a little
nucleus? Nucleus is the word you're looking for.
Nucleus of mates that you've grown up together and you're all into it, sort of thing. Is that something that exists for you?
Yeah, I think I definitely do. But being from having a background in so many classes, I think I've got a few that are kind of spread out between each other. So I've got the guys I came up in the 420 with, one of which, Cole Tapper, who's also in this Youth America's Cup team.
Yeah.
And then, my foiling pathway. So, under the support of Mark Ablett, and then all those young guys as well that have come through. And then, the 49er squad, we're all quite a close-knit bunch.
Do we consider Mark Ablett a good influence or a bad influence?
I think he's a great influence.
I
know you guys had him on the podcast a few weeks ago.
He works hard.
Very fortunate to have that guy kind of in my corner. He's been supporting me in the Wasp since as long as I can remember. So pretty thankful to him. Yeah, no,
he's a good man. He's a good man. I'm sort of happy for you. Like it's that joy. You've somebody's taken enough time to give you that love and joy, and you've been or encouraged that joy for sailing or that. So I'm interested. Do you reckon if you were trying to grow the sport, where do you reckon what attracts people to the sport? Just from
nice question, Jay.
Yeah.
There's a layer of internal drive that kind of needs to be there. The want to go sailing and the need, but I think creating the environment for that to sort of happen. And for me,
it's a good question because sorry to butt in on you, Jack, but what you just said then was perfect. Is like have the internal drive to do this, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get less and less. We've been talking about this for the last 4 or 5 weeks, but we want to see more of someone like yourself come through and keep pushing. Like we've got to try and keep doing that.
Yeah, in this day and age, with attention spans, kind of feels like it's gone down a bit.
There you go.
It's hard to keep people
What?
track in a particular thing, but
Oh, we're on a podcast. Yeah.
That's a good one.
No.
There's a rock.
All right, let's. I reckon we appreciate that answer, mate. Like, it's a hard question, so I appreciate you taking an effort for it. Let's talk about this Youth America's Cup thing, right? Pretty exciting. Just the first step for you guys, because you guys haven't sailed the boat, right? So how they're picking a team, what the trials process was like. I'm really interested. I mean, we kind of know, but for our listeners, the process that you went through.
Yeah, I know you spoke to Finn Alexander back in January about the whole process, but I think going back to the beginning was just the expressions of interest and initial applications through to kind of a video round where we each have to make our own 6-minute video answering a bunch of questions, why we think we're the right guy for the job, that kind of vibe. That came down to a camp of, I think it was probably 40 of us all around. And that was a pretty special camp, just having all those people in the same room together.
There would have been some good people there.
Yeah, just like people I'd never met before from completely different pathways of sailing, from yachting, from catamaran sailing. It was really great to meet all those other people that share the same love for the sport, but I've necessarily not come across them in my travels.
Nice.
Yeah, and then from the camp, they cut us down to a wider squad of 18 or so, and then in the last few months, they've been trying to get the numbers down to the final 4 that'll be on the boat in Barcelona.
It's
and
cool.
What's the youths 25, 18 to 25? Is that what's classed as the youth, right?
Exactly, 25 on the day of the match.
Yeah, cool. And throughout that process, who were kind of the people that inspired you or coached you or took you through the process? Was it JB on John Bertram calling you?
Well, I was about to ask the same question.
Was it anyone?
Posse?
Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of inspiration from JB. Haven't seen a whole lot of him recently, but every time we do, he brings a new bit of fire to the belly for all of us. So
Had you met him before?
No, I hadn't. I remember it was the camp. We all had a dinner at Herman's lovely restaurant, Aura. So John Winning Jr. We're all sitting around at our tables, all chatting about the camp and talking a bit of smack about the challenges we've completed and who's done the best. And yeah, JB came, and I remember he individually walked around to each one of us around each table, so all 35, 40 people, and introduced himself, asked about our sailing, and just took the time to actually.
He's an amazing person.
Yeah, so that was definitely something special. I think I took a lot from that. It was a pretty cool experience, just watch him go and hear what he had to say and listen to every single person that was in the room.
Yeah.
It's very much the way royalty moves around the room, that sort of that process. What were some of the tests that you had to go through?
A lot of teamwork kind of tests, just simple stuff like tangling ourselves all up in a rope and then trying to untangle, like in a group of 5, silly stuff like that.
Did you just crack out a knife and cut everyone out?
Got my Leatherman.
Crack out the Stanley.
I think we were stuck there for like 10 minutes, so that probably would have been a better move. We did a bit of Elliott sailing as well, rotating teams, a little bit of time in the simulator trying to figure that thing out before we'd all had a really good shot at it. So they were kind of the main 3 aspects of that camp.
Talk to us about the simulator. Jordan Spencer's probably one of the best helmsmen that's ever been seen in the simulator. But is that everything that you thought? Is it as well? You don't know if
you were on it last night, weren't you, Jack?
Don't know if it's completely realistic yet until you jump in the real thing. But could you? Well, okay, straight to the point. Could you do a wipeout like the NZ youth team last week?
Oh,
You can definitely set up the circumstances for a wipeout.
Yeah.
But when we bid it on the simulator, we kind of just bounce off the water and keep going at 30 knots.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. I think we do our best to try and take what we can from that training tool, and be as realistic as we can about it. It's pretty easy to get comfortable in that, especially now at this point where we've put in so much.
Jack, where is it at the moment?
It's sitting at Winnings in the city in Sydney.
Oh,
So they're just in an office building.
I was expecting it to be at Drummoyne Sailing Club by now.
yeah. Actually, so what I picked up from that, Jack, was that there's no consequence for mistakes. It feels like the simulator should have a consequence element into it. So if you do have a big mistake, like a hand comes out and slaps you on the back of the head or something like that, so you get that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
Maybe just a voiceover of Ray Davies.
You idiot.
I've got the phone number for the engineer that builds that simulator, so I might give him a ring. And
well, we've always said we should have a voiceover for the person on the GPS when you're talking on the car.
Yeah.
Same thing. We should do the same thing for this.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So what do you reckon, to get you guys down to the last few numbers? Oh, who was deciding the team? Who had the selection?
There's a mix between sort of the coach mentors we've had guiding us through the process, which include Victor Pyer, who's the 49er FX Olympic coach, and then Ewan McNichol and Harry Price as well. So those three have kind of been guiding the process over the last many months.
Are you concerned that there's so many New South Wales sailors in the team when, New South Wales has sort of let everyone down in sporting standards elsewhere?
I'm not too worried at all, actually.
You are talking to three people from Adelaide, by the way, Jack.
Right.
No, just
I've got things to say about Adelaide, but it's a lot. So.
You never had so much fun.
So what's the process now, Jack? We're a few months out. Everyone gets over there. There's a bunch of training. How's that all looking from a timing perspective?
Yeah, 3 months. It's all ramping up pretty quickly.
It happens quickly.
Just how short we are really of time. Just finally working on our synchronization in the simulator between each driver and trimmer is kind of a focus at the moment, and then also just building a bit of that team culture and bonding on the water as well. So we've got some plans in the near future to get out for some match racing. I've worked out a bit of a deal with Wasp to get a few boats down in Sydney. So hopefully we'll get everyone out on the water operating as well together. The simulator is well and good, but it's just sort of a computer in a dark room.
I was just about to say that. Are you still on the water? I mean, you can spend all that time in front of that computer screen, but are you? That's a good point. So you're still on the water.
Yeah, for me personally, do a lot of moth sailing at Wallara currently, and then got the 49er over in the background. Yeah. So being on the water, I think not losing that sight is important, just because we, especially over probably the Christmas period and then a little bit beyond, we all did get pretty stuck into that simulator, probably to our detriment as human beings.
Yeah. I'm interested.
So what's the as far as the simulator, like clearly there's some there's fixed positions on the boat. Do you train in those particular positions? You're obviously going to be a helmsman. So do you like port side, starboard side? Is that coming to it yet, or still to play for?
Yeah, there are positions that everyone kind of tends to go towards. That's just kind of worked out in a certain way over the last 6 months. But we do find it pretty important to swap around as well, just so we know the loads each person's under and what actually they're doing in their role. So we swap around as much as we can as well. But I think the combinations of driver trimmer on each side are forming pretty strongly now.
Cool.
It's interesting. So now that you're sort of down to that squad, are you diving into sort of discussions around strategies on the course and starting, the way it's really become more and more evident to my eye watching a lot of foiling stuff that we started out a lot of times where the boats would try and accelerate off the start, and the first to accelerate was the winner. But now we're starting to see the dive bombs coming in a lot more, where you're just coming around the back of everyone, hitting it at full speed and gone. Are you guys going sort of all through all that? Like, are you spending a lot of time on the tapes just looking at what people are doing or asking questions for those guys that are racing in series that sort of do that sort of stuff? Have you?
Yeah, absolutely. We did a pretty deep dive into the racing in Villanova and Jeddah, those preliminary regattas. And as much as we can in the simulator, we try to emanate those sort of behaviors and how we set up how we attack a start, whether it be the jibe entry coming from above the box with a lot of speed or from a long way out, lining up for that final approach. We do the best we can to keep it realistic in the simulator, although it's pretty easy to whip the thing around. We try and be accountable to how much of a video game it still is.
Yeah, Bryce and I did a pretty deep dive in Villanova as well, and made sure the starts were under control. We did realise that.
A deep dive in more ways than one, BP, given it was a flash flood. So Jack, tell me this. We saw in, where was it, in Saudi, that the Italian Prada was helmed by, what's his name?
Redoni.
Yep. So ex-Optimus World.
Yeah.
Word has it.
Would have been one of your competitors.
Word has it that he had never sailed the boat, that he'd only sailed the simulator until he arrived in. Is that true?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I think it's probably a possibility. With a good team around you, you do build the muscle memory in the simulator, and if you have the outside sailing skill and knowledge and experience that you've formed in other boats,
answer.
I think between the simulator and that, you can bring them together and put that down as a decent performance on the AC40.
Yeah.
Well, it was impressive. I mean, I've got to say, it was absolutely super impressive to see him do what he did. Do you feel like that, do you feel confident enough, not to go out and win every race, but do you feel confident enough to get on that course and mix it up with the best of them? Yeah,
I think as long as we put in the work here at home, and we build the trust across the team and that kind of bond and synchro between us, I think, we'll be good as anyone to take it on. So
awesome. Love it.
Absolutely.
Love the answer.
And how about, we've seen the Kiwis sailing their boat, you team, putting the stack to the side, and we've seen a few other teams. Have you reached out and said to Herman, mate, come on, we need a boat. Let's get us out there.
Well, we're doing our best at the moment with a little charter agreement, but we're just kind of waiting to see how that all pans out just before the Cup. But in terms of getting our hands on a boat personally, I think it's a pretty slim chance at this stage. It's a bit late for that all to happen. So
yeah. And what's the process come boat allocation and stuff? Like, where are the boats coming from? Are they newies or team boats, or how's that look?
I think they're just boats put up by the teams. We'll end up with 6, and they'll just be parked in the water at Port Olympic in Barcelona.
Yep.
And they've got their own sort of tech team similar to the South GP.
Is it a draw of which boat you get, or is it
the plan? Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I actually love that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So all the boats, the teams are using have to be returned to one design configuration. And basically, it's exactly that. It's an allocation.
And you get boat A, boat B, boat C, boat D, whatever the numbers are. Yep, cool, love it.
Yep. And
a friend of the show, as a matter of just to pipe in there, A friend of the show, one Daryl Wislang, will be running that whole side of things for the youth and the women. So good luck to Daryl on that. He'll do a fantastic job. So they'll be impeccable, ready to roll.
He's a beauty, old whiz-bang.
This poor Jack, you idiot.
Idiot.
Jack, have you met Daryl Wislang before?
I haven't, but I can't wait. Sounds like he's the sort of guy that could be useful to slip a few things in his pocket.
He's an absolute beauty.
A few pineapple lumps, a can of LP.
No, he's a beauty.
I'm interested from a coaching perspective, like it's one of the things you do is you try and build team, and you've discussed that, that relationship and how you're going to work together and coming together as a team. One thing, it gets all positive in the training environment, but once the pressure hits, a team can fall apart. And I'm interested in how that pressure, making decisions under pressure, or if you drop the boat or you don't get up on the foils, and how you're going to manage that, and if the coaches are driving you through some sort of stressful environment as well.
Yeah, we try to put ourselves under as much stress as possible in the simulator, but we know we're never really going to be able to simulate what's going to happen in real life, especially because we don't actually know what to expect once we're on the boat. But yeah, for example, last night we're in the simulator and Emirates Team New Zealand held a bit of a mock regatta for, I think it was 6 teams all racing. And we had Ray Davies and Elise Beavis overlooking that and basically watching pretty closely. So there's definitely a little bit more riding on that one, and we all felt a little bit more pressure.
Was that with the teams?
Yeah. We had.
How'd you go?
We ended up 2nd overall at the end of the night.
Oh, well done, old China.
Just a little bit of money, but those youth Kiwi boys, they're pretty onto it. So they have their day out sailing on the AC40 training, and then they go and Taos in the simulator in the Arvo. So
yeah, but hey, come on. Good work, though. Good work.
They're prone to psychological weakness. Bit of banter.
Yeah, we know all those boys.
You know they break apart when it comes to the banter. Right. So coming second's good right now. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, we're right on their heels, and we're
just watching. You're just watching. You're like a fox.
Yeah, wait for them to slip up and pull over.
I love it.
One of us is going the wrong way.
I'm just wondering, while we're talking about adding consequence to the simulator, could we add the banter to the simulator? Can you talk to each other while you're in sim game?
Unfortunately not, although I do get a lot of calls from various people trying to either be angry about a situation, but I usually just ignore them.
WhatsApp's going,
Exactly.
TikTok.
Going live on TikTok. Actually, that would be good, wouldn't it? We'll go live on you guys could go live on Facebook and do live simulator regattas. That would create a crowd.
Yeah.
It's called esports.
But this is not. This is with the actual athletes.
Yeah. Go on.
Well, okay, so you get all that. I was just thinking how I was just having a quick little browse through the notice of race actually for the youth and the women's America's Cup, and it's all going to be, a lot of media, everyone's going to be mic'd up and all those sorts of things.
Ooh.
And it's something we probably haven't seen for quite some. But given the nationality rule about the communication from each team, obviously, the Swedes will be speaking Swedish, like the Italian, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be pretty unusual to what we're used to seeing, right? So we're used to seeing everyone, English on the racetrack and all that sort of things, but it's going to be very nationalistic, which is unusual.
For us, we'll be speaking Australian, but we've been told there's penalties for our language.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, you bloody ripper. That's a cracking thing.
It's called substitute words, Jack.
Hey, Jack, fuck 'em, mate. No, just jokes.
No.
Just jokes.
Substitute words. That's all you do.
Doing our best to take it easy on the comms. We'll see how we can do that.
Wow.
No, that's all you have to do as a team is work out, you assign some words to different emotions. So if you are really upset, you could say something that sounds wonderful and radiant on the comms, but everyone knows in the team that you're grumpy or something like that, like you can do it. I'm feeling pretty biased right now, like that could be a positive or a negative.
Yeah, the Swedes will be
Well,
using that.
in Swedish, in Swedish, it's not good, is it?
That's right.
Jack, do you know what bias means in Swedish?
No, I'm not aware.
Shit.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll hear about it. How about just on the boats, back to the boats a bit. From a technical point of view, like the actual, of course, you've got the controls on the simulator and stuff, but actually understanding how the twin skins, the travelers, all that sort of stuff from the trim of the boat. Is there enough feedback in the sim for that sort of stuff, or you've kind of been taught through different people or coaches, or Ray Davies for that matter?
Yeah, on the simulator and on the boats themselves, those little target numbers we have on all the data are actually quite a decent baseline for performance for how to get the thing around the track. And I think in our time in the simulator, whether or not it will translate to real life, but in our time in the simulator, we've spent time playing around with those fine percentages on each control, whether it be clicks of can or ride height, or setting up the main slightly differently, or the jib, or where we're putting travelers, just to milk out that every little last bit of VMG. So we're in a pretty comfy place in the simulator to get around the track at 100%. And then I think once we get our hands on a boat, it'll just be testing that and cross-checking everything.
I'm interested.
Sorry, guys. Is the information you're getting from the people who are you able to access the information from people who actually have boats? Are they sharing that information?
Right now, no. There's
exactly.
all pretty quiet. Yeah, we
so
don't.
You're getting all your information from a simulator.
Yeah, we get a little bit of insight here and there from people that sail the boats. Guys like Kyle, who are working with the Swedish.
The test rig.
Lots of time. We had, Glenn Ashby's been really good, answering a lot of questions and guiding us down the right paths, just with how he's out.
Okay, so you're getting some insight, but that's a thing, isn't it? Actually, no truth.
Didn't Kyle capsize his boat? Both the Australian boat and the Swedish boat this week?
Yeah, he's had a good week.
Test rig to hell.
Test rig both the boats.
You might have seen my comment on his Facebook page. # test rig.
I'm interested,
Jack. You up? Jack, you up with the test rig comment?
Test rig, no.
Okay, so these we got to get these kids up to speed, don't we? So test rig is basically someone who breaks things on boats.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Because every factory has a test rig where they test things to their max, and so somebody on
Kyle
the boat
is Kyle is our test rig.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing is important here, as you know, it's not you guys in isolation. You've got another team there, the women's team, and I'm interested. Obviously, there'd be a lot of information sharing and sort of back and forth talking about different ideas. Is that what's going on with the team?
Yeah, considering the nature of the campaign and the fact that each of us are individual sailors on our own little pathways, I think we kind of take who we can when we train in the simulator. So there's been a lot of crossover between the youth and the women.
Yeah,
we definitely train in a set team all the time. So recently we've had two of the girls trimming for us primarily, as one of our trimmers is off sailing some J70s over in Europe. So there's a lot of sharing of ideas, and we all work pretty closely together. So
okay, cool. So all right, we're getting near the end of the interview. What's the program from here? When do you head overseas?
It'll depend on if we get that charter deal at this stage.
Yeah,
I'd guess sometime in August we'll be all on the plane to Barcelona and setting up camp there.
Okay. Have you sailed in Barcelona before?
I haven't sailed there, but I've been there once or twice.
Okay.
Seen the city.
Habla español, amigo.
No bueno.
Oh, beautiful, lovely Aussie accent in your Spanish.
Yeah, there's maybe a bit of Duolingo's in order in this little lead up.
Well, Bicey and I love our Spanish with Australian accent. So,
Yep. It gets perfected at about 9 p.m. of an evening.
Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está la biblioteca?
Oh, come on, mate.
Everybody wants to go to the library. I'm not sure why. Take some manzana with them. Yeah, okay. So, like, how are you feeling, mate? Like, are you guys, like, are you nervous or are you excited and you think this is, here's this doorway that's going to open all sorts of things up?
Yeah,
like
this is a big thing. This is a big question, actually. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there's definitely nerves when we do think forward to Barcelona and the gap between now and then, how short it really is. But we are super excited we've got a really unique opportunity here to really put our names out on the world stage. So I think everyone knows the gravity of this opportunity, and no one wants to really let themselves or the team down. So it's an exciting few months.
I'm really, really, really excited for you. The thing is that it's not just this year. This is the next 4 years, the 4 years after that, and 4 years after that. This is the start of something really special. With the youth and the women's, and what goes on from here to the America's Cup itself. I mean, I hold all three of these events at the same level. I mean, ultimately the 75s are, where all the money's spent, but I'm so excited to see the youth and the women's America's Cup. I can't wait.
That's awesome. Yeah.
the other thing they've done.
The only disappointment here, Jack, and I was just doing this yesterday, just from a work point of view, just setting the schedule out in Barcelona and what that looks like. It's literally 8 days yachting in a competitive environment.
Yeah.
For all this stuff that's going on, like it's 8 days of yachting, which, I mean, the opportunity in itself is awesome. But it's a bit of it's going to be over pretty bloody quick.
Yeah, it's going to go.
And that's probably the biggest, the hardest thing to try and sort of get your head around, is because it is going to be over quickly. But that's my point just then, Bicey, is that this is the start of something. This is the beginning of a new sort of process, I think.
Yeah, for me, with the dream having always been the America's Cup since I was starting out in the Opti, I think hopefully it's the beginning of something great. And I'm pretty excited to just have the opportunity to get myself out there and see how I can mix it up with the best youth.
Yeah.
Well,
It'll be bloody good.
It's all good. You've met the great man, John Bertrand.
Yep.
I think the thing that they've done really well with this whole cycle is also interspersed the women's and the youth in during the sailing of the Cup in the 75. So it is going to really involve you in the whole program. It's a great opportunity for anyone that gets to do it. I think
I want to be 21 again.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Have you had your 21st?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
At Herman's restaurant.
All right, mate. We might leave it there. I think we're pretty excited for you guys. If anyone wants to get involved or reach out or help out in any way, is there a way that they can become involved with the challenge?
Yeah, of course. You can become a member of our kind of Team Australia challenge. Or you can make a tax deductible donation through. I've got a link on my sailing Facebook page. If you just Jack Ferguson Sailing, if you head over there, but any bit really helps to.
So Facebook, Jack Ferguson Sailing.
That's the one. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, anything really helps at this stage where we're pushing hard to make these last few opportunities happen for us to get the most out of our time in Barcelona. And yeah, this charter agreement also potentially happening is going to be pretty key as well. If we can get an extra 4 days on the boats before we get into it, it'll be pretty crucial to us and our performance. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Awesome, mate.
Bloody
Listen,
oath.
so excited for you, Jack. Great to meet you. And, well, just seriously, enjoy every second.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers, Jack. Good luck, mate. We'll see you up there at some point.
Cheers.
Nice. Way smarter than us kids these days.
Mate. Just what a time to be alive, though, eh? What a time. I did state
cool.
that I'd like to be 21 again, I said.
Well, you definitely wouldn't make a team like this, I'll tell you. They're refined. I was just looking at the none of us would even get close. Looking at the profiles, one of the kids studying mechatronics, the whole, all that side of things.
Yep.
To be, and which fits in quite nicely with this. It's kind of the next.
It's kind of like
call it the third skill pathway.
America's Cup astronauts.
So it's pretty cool. I've got to tell you, it's a fantastic opportunity.
I'm agreeing with you.
But they're switched on. Well, they're not kids really. They're switched on. They know what's happening. Hopefully they can get this charter deal because time on the water at the end of the day.
Yep.
The sim is going to bring them up to a level, but the time on the water to get them out there is going to be pretty key, I reckon.
It's a bit Aussie centric, but for all the Aussies out there who are listening, if you are interested in helping out, get involved. There's a link there, so get involved. Take it on.
Good regatta. Can't wait. Can't wait. The whole cup thing going to be great.
Just on that, Jordan Spencer. Like I said, I was putting together a bit of the schedule.
Yeah.
On what this whole thing looks like.
What do you need me to do?
Get the barge quickly.
So basically, get this from the cup point of view. For those that haven't seen the schedule, pretty much it kicks off by the end of August. 21st of August is the prelim regatta. Then you got into the Louis Vuitton round robin. This is on the 75s, of course, which goes through the semis, then to the finals, and then finally the America's Cup starting on the 12th of October.
Correct.
1st to 7. So the big boats are sailing pretty much the whole time. Then you've got the youth and the women's going through. Then in complementary to that, all the other regattas happening in Barcelona as well.
Yeah.
Which includes the maxis.
Yep.
The J class and the super yachts.
Wow.
So it's by mid-September onwards, there's going to be a lot of action happening on those waterways. So fingers crossed.
Should we just move there? Should we just move there for 3 months?
Well, I am actually. Yeah, you mentioned it. So,
have you got a spare lounge? Have you got a spare lounge?
Oh, there's heaps of lounges. Absolutely.
Great. I'm looking for it. Hey, last week I mentioned that I was struggling because I ran out of radix.
Oh, right.
I ran out of radix, and I'd spent the last 2 weeks sort of struggling. Managed to find another supply.
Oh. So is that why you're looking so chirped this week?
I am seriously telling you guys that when you don't eat radix, you feel it. But when you eat it, you feel it. There you go.
There's a lot of feeling in your life now.
If we're not putting that, if that doesn't go on the label, something's wrong.
How's my advertising skills?
Hey?
No, seriously, I'm back on the radix, and I'm getting through the days, and I'm happy.
You know why? Because
Why?
you're getting fast, healthy, complete nutrition. And it saves you time and effort with nutritionally balanced breakfast meals made from high-quality natural ingredients. That's why.
Performance through health.
Performance through
Okay.
health.
I'll tell you.
Just go to Radix Nutrition, jump on their website, use Barkarati, one word, as the discount
can
code.
I say that is the truth, by the way?
No doubt.
I'm not lying.
We've not partnered up just because we're doing it because it's a genuine match for our sport. So it's a good partnership. That's why we took it on.
Absolutely true.
All right, club events, boys. We're recording a bit earlier in the week, putting the whole thing together during the week because of travel. This June is going to be July for the three of us is an absolute nightmare. We're not actually sure how we're going to pull Barkarati together going forward, but for the next month, it's going to be basically we're not the best environmentalists this month because all three of us are doing a lot of plane footprint.
We need to plant a lot of trees this month.
Yes.
For a lot of plane operations.
Yeah. So
where are you going to be, Jordan?
I plant a tree a day.
Where are you going to be, Jordan?
I'm going to New York, Mr. Bice.
New York.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
And BP, you're heading home from the United Kingdom.
I'm coming back. Coming out to Sydney on Wednesday.
And I'm on a plane Friday going to Monday, Newport, Rhode Island.
Yeah. No, the TPs. That'd be a good one.
How are we going?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? All right, so we'll get onto that, but we'll just come back to that a little bit later, I think. I just want to mention, the reason I brought it up is some of the stuff I'm mentioning now will be over and done as we're talking about it. VX1 midwinters are happening in Australia. So one of my favourite boats is the VX1, great little boat. So good luck to everyone competing in that. J70 Worlds, the Corinthian Worlds are on at the moment, so that should be run and done. And one that is coming up is for all the normal-sized human beings on the planet, the Finn World Masters Championships taking place in Italy, 7 to 14 June. So that is, as we're recording on the 7th Australian time, and so it'll be underway as you hear this once we publish. So, good luck to all the fantastic Finn sailors that are enjoying that lifestyle. Cool. Anything else you guys want to mention on events?
The only one I had there was the Newport Bermuda coming up.
So
the New York Regatta, which will be taking place out of Newport next week.
Yep.
Being followed by the Newport Bermuda race, which is a crack, I think, June 21st from memory. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. One of the great 600 milers around. So,
Yeah. I think we mentioned it a few months ago when they opened up entries. I think we gave it a bit of a plug at that stage, but yeah. All right. Cool. Let us move forward. What do we like to call this segment? This is the Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week, presented by our great mates at Vycobi. We've got a couple of interesting emails.
Well, are they really listeners of the week? I mean, come on.
No. This is a good one. I really like this one. So the first one I really like. Okay, it's Chris Howell from Sandgate.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah. So he's just, his subject was "It's okay, I don't need a jacket," which I love because all the crap that people go through. I love it. His email is: does anyone sing along to the bass guitar interlude? Doop 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 doop, whatever it is.
How does it go again? I didn't remember.
Yeah, you wrote it. I usually listen while alone in the car on work trips, and the tune is catchy, so I get into it and don't usually upset anyone. So I recently had a trip to the high-altitude, well-known sailing town of Mount Isa.
High altitude.
Mining town, for those not part of Australia, and was listening along on my headphones. The other passengers of the plane were giving me some funny looks. So the singing along to the Barkarati intro, I love that image. Like that made me chuckle for quite a while when I heard that. He also asked.
I tell you what. Why don't I send Chris Howe a link to the actual song, the actual bar karate song, the slide.
Oh, and
guitar,
don't forget to
blues
include
song.
the film clip that you filmed for it, BP.
Oh, yes, that one. Yes. That's the three of us standing in a bar with a beer, right?
There's something like that. You're sitting up on your slide guitar. Anyway, he did ask us to plug a couple of events. So the Queensland Flying 15 State Champs, 9 and 10 November at Tin Can Bay Yacht Club. So Tin Can Bay is a genuine town name in Australia if you're not from here.
And it's a lovely little place for all those want to go. It's way up north. It's a beautiful place.
The other one is the Australian Flying 15 Champs, which are 1 to 5 January, Davies Bay Yacht Club. Thanks and love your work. Now, that's just a nice all-round email. Hey, very happy to publicise that one because we
agreed.
He gave us a great visual and also did the old whole thing around publicising some sailing, which is what we wanted to go. Now, the other one it was Jody Shields. I don't know where Sinclair came from.
Jody Sinclair. His name might have changed to Sinclair after sitting in his sauna so long.
He's been publishing some stuff this week.
Jody Shields.
There's been a protest, gents, about the jacket. The jacket that was given away to Snowdy last week loves a freebie.
He didn't even know when I spoke to him 3 days ago, by the
way. But basically, Jody has raised the protest flag.
I love
he's called for
it. Is it going to the room?
Well, I'm not going to read all the banter that him and I have had over the Messenger the last week, but I think we've seen a little bit that's come into the group. But basically, he feels a bit hard done by. So I'm wondering if we form a battle between the jacket, see how strong the jacket really is between the snow and Jody.
One sleeve each.
But I have extended the invite to Jody to maybe it's time to do a bit of a kind of a mid-season wrap on the Sail GP and a bunch of other stuff that we all observe. And also offered for him to do it live from his sauna that he's loving so much at the minute.
It's just weird, isn't it? It's weird. But thanks for sharing, Jade. It's cool.
Yeah.
The irony of where the name, the Sinclair I was thinking of, the irony is you'd know Kane Sinclair. Kane Sinclair's name popped into my head. And so Jody had known him quite well. So that's where it came from, Jody.
But no, keep an eye on that in the next few weeks. I think that's going to be a good one. Just a little mid-year catch-up.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure because there's plenty happening. All right.
Ole, 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 ole. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
It's hot time with Bice.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Bice.
It even made Nigel laugh in the background.
Can you imagine all the Swedish people listening to that going, it's hot time with shit.
Nigel's laughing in the background on the couch.
So, gents, I don't know, is it kind of new boat season? It feels as though everywhere I look, there's new boats just rolling out. Quite a few new boats on the water, like obviously the X2, not a brand newy BP, but, starting to get its fingers just...
Traction.
Getting a bit of traction, specifically on the Solent at this time of year.
Your manufacturing process looks to be a lot quicker these days, BP. So they're pumping them out.
Yeah, well, we're not here to talk about us, but no, it's getting there. We'll have
Just forgot to say that at the start of the show.
No, we'll have a long chat about it later. Let's have a dedicated discussion later.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. So, but yeah, in saying that, I've noticed a few boats rolling. The Swan 28 has been launched.
Yes.
Been launched.
Interesting looking vessel. Yes. There was I did see a Facebook post on there from David Eichmeyer.
Yes.
And, said if you're interested, have a look. And then one question came up, said, how much? Well, there you go. Well, the question wasn't answered, but how much? Oh my God.
Oh, you got the answer?
No, I don't know the answer.
You know how much?
They're going to be quite expensive, I would say.
Oh yeah, so they should be. Got the label on it.
Beautiful little boat.
Yeah,
it's the man.
Speaking of swans, we've seen the Club Swan 43.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to add to the add to the repertoire, add to the quiver of swans that are out there. They can be part of the swan, the club
Family.
championship, whatever it's called, the swan family. The other one I noticed pop up was the XR41, the new X yachts, which
Yep.
are coming out next year. But there's plenty of but basically what I'm saying, there's quite a few boats being bandied about. You know, we're almost into the European summer, so there's quite a bit of action in that world. So who knows? Right, next, boys. News. Right now, it's going to be old news by the time you listen to this. But Sam Goodchild just dropped his stick.
Yes.
Oh no.
Bondi.
Mm.
So he has turned around and heading back to wherever.
Nigel, my
Azores.
man in the background just said, "Yep, thumbs up, done." Yep, he agreed.
What, the mast fell down?
Yep, it's happened. Yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
there you go.
Thanks, Nigel.
That's funny.
All right.
Wow.
Well, whilst we're on the Vendée, New York Vendée, our mate Charlie Darlin is just smoking.
Oh,
What a cool looking race this is. I love this race.
yeah.
I'm going to go for it right now. And
I don't know if I'd like to be sailing in it though. Fuck, it's like brick walls everywhere. I
Yeah.
think, as Frank Camas referred to. So you got the big bunch in the middle of the Atlantic. You got Boris going via Reykjavik just to drop something off.
but have you looked at the weather pattern he's in?
Might come smoking home, let me tell you. So he's currently
He is on a massive opportunity. Oh, hang on, here comes.
averaging 20 knots.
I've just
at
had
the moment.
I've just had a computer screen come in from my management team.
So averaging 20 knots, literally going straight towards the barn door.
Wow.
Charlie is just on the edge of it, about to sail into a massive light spot, but this will all be done and dusted by the time people are listening. And then you've got the group that've gone around the Azores to the south. So massive splits.
Massive splits.
I'm really liking Boris at the moment. I'm sorry. Boris is going to come in on that sled ride. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, but he's got to make up 400 miles.
Come on.
The guy's got...
Well, way more than that.
Charlie Darlin's... Yeah, nah.
He's got Charlie's
upwind.
got 700 miles to the finish as we record, right?
Yeah, but he's got upwind to go.
I know.
He's all upwind.
I know. I love it. So it's an interesting discussion because, you know, when you coach sailing, like in a regatta, you know, you're trying not to take risk. Like you want to remove risk unless you need to jump up a ladder. But if you know, that's why I always talk about that consistency and stuff. But when you're racing an ocean race, it's just one race, you know, you got to win. So the whole strategy flips, you know, you want to put yourself in a position where you can win. And so, you know, you take more risk just naturally because, you know, in a regatta, you just want a whole bunch of sort of second, third, first, that sort of thing. You don't want to have any high numbers. But if you want to win a race, and that's what this is, it's all strategy. And Boris has just gone for it. He's right out there.
I love it. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's
All right. So this is kind of old news anyway.
Yeah.
By the time people are listening. So we'll give a
congratulations to...
We'll give a post-mortem next week.
Yeah, but it's fun. I think that's the right assessment. But yeah, it's fun.
Yep,
I'm not quite sure about the team, the group right down south. Let's look.
They're going to be bashing their heads into it.
You know, Jeremy Bayou, Charal, Sam Davies. You know, all those people down there. That they're in a really bad position. I'm afraid.
Yeah,
I heard there was the sale
upwind to get home.
It was a duty-free sale on in the Azores, and they went down for it.
All right.
Move on.
Moving on. Info will be coming next week when we decide how we're going to record on the Super Series stuff that's happening in Newport, Rhode Island, along with the New York Yacht Club Regatta. So just stay tuned for that one, but keep an eye out for it during the week, everyone.
That's got 10 boats, hasn't it? That one. That's all the TPs you're talking about, or are you talking the whole regatta?
Oh, both basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So and then of course Canadian Sail GP, gents.
Oh.
Post-mortem, what's the wrap up? Just before we do go into the wrap up, I'm not sure if you saw this yesterday, but there was definitely a Kiwi vocal on the Sail GP Facebook page.
Yep.
About whinging Tom Slingsby.
Right.
And then you could see all the banter back and forth between Aussies and Kiwis, basically.
Yep.
So I just put a little one in there. Mate, this should be live as far as a bar karate banter session.
No, well, let's be honest. Anyway, let's be honest. I mean, Sail GP, the whole structure, that those boats are quite technologically advanced, and the way they respond in sail is controlled by
computer.
Yeah, by computer, but it's also controlled from the shore. So I don't want to start conspiracy theories, and I don't want to spout off and make false allegations, but clearly Sail GP are trying to make sure that the Aussies don't win. Like they flipped the boat on them. It was done.
Yeah,
tell us how you really feel.
You're 100% right, Jordan Spencer. I believe if you go back to the Russell report, maybe 3 or 4 regattas ago, there was comments saying that for Sail GP, for Australia to win again, would not be good.
Yeah, no, which is ridiculous thing to say.
100% sabotage.
100% sabotage. It's not even. I mean, you could just bet your house on it. It's sabotage. It's just brutal. I mean, sure, some of the other boats got sabotaged as well. The US got sabotaged in Bermuda.
The US got sabotaged. The Kiwi wing coming down, sabotaged.
That's right. That big Spanish slide. So how
you reckon there's a big brother with a thumb on a button?
Well, I know there is. I mean, they can. Like, they can control the response times on those boats. They can control everything on those boats, like from the shore.
And they can invert the wings?
Yes, 100%.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, they can. All that technology, the way that the whole thing's set up, everything can be controlled from the shore. But obviously, I don't genuinely believe that happened, and we're just having a laugh.
No,
but
you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't believe that, do you?
No. We'd never say that. Oh, I mean, you just don't know. But it is weird that everything's sort of suddenly fallen apart. So one thing I was really interested in, I think Lisa was talking about it on the coverage, was the cold water and the way the falls are responding to the cold water, which was really interesting. I hadn't thought of it. And clearly you could see the way the boats were moving in that weather at Halifax. Like, it looked cold. Geez, it looked cold. Probably a nice sunny day for Canada. But... yeah, the way the boats were sliding around and moving and they were sailing much lower on their falls, so clearly the colder water was having an influence. But, yeah, geez, it was tough regatta. What about the crane out thing, though? Like,
with the US?
You reckon sabotage, not putting the Swiss boat and the US boat in? The Canadians and the US, I thought were pretty close. But, can you imagine if at the Aussie event, or the Kiwi event, vice versa.
Mate. Hey.
What?
You watch Letterkenny. You know the US and the Canadians aren't that close.
No. But can you imagine, like, that was unbelievable. I know it's really hard to, I'm not going to criticise anyone. I can't, but it's really hard to crane those boats in and out and, under the conditions. And we saw in Sydney a year ago, if the crane driver is forced to do something in tough conditions. So there was no way they were going to risk it, but geez, what a consequence, hey? And they allocated, basically went as your standings. So the lower you were on the standings, the less chance you had of getting in the water. So, that was what they said. They went the US, the Swiss, and then who else was it? The Germans. Yeah. And then the Germans got in for the 5th race. Unbelievable.
Yowzers.
Unbelievable. Can you imagine that in a Formula One race?
I know nothing.
Anyway, controversy.
Speaking of Formula One race, how good was the skid that the Spanish
Oh, it
did
was unbelievable. It was not
Huh?
going to stop. Can
over
you
the
imagine
finish?
as a
Just
kid?
came flying in. Like I can imagine it. You got full back brake
Yeah,
on your bikes.
on the
And
gravel.
on the gravel, you're just doing a little nice skid in front of mum and dad showing off. And then next thing you know, you fall over and smack your teeth out on the curb. Might have happened once. But how cool was the little
be a memory?
how cool was the little skid they did coming over the finish?
Oh, it was
Very.
unreal. Like they just kept going sideways and sideways. And so I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Right, so Halifax, it was a success. Lots of people watching. It was, they'll be back.
At that off that bottom mark and near the finish line there, how they were coming off that, and so I mean, seriously, it's like that. It was like that event in Dubai, where the turning mark was just a few feet from the
Yeah.
dock. Like that was some cool footage.
Yeah,
Great.
cool. What else was going on? Was
Bold d'Or. I want to talk
The
about.
Bold
Baltimore.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. It's coming up 14th to 16th June, which is basically, I don't know if anyone, if you don't know about it, basically it's a race on Lake Geneva. They start at Geneva, race right up the other end of the lake, and then all the way back. It's like a 120-mile race, and
It's a long race.
it's a big race, and it's all technology. So, you can come up with the whatever you can dream up, you can race. And that's why the Swiss have all these funky boats all the time, So it's, some of the great images.
specifically light air flyers, one would say.
Mm.
And then every now and then you just get one of these weather bombs come through, which happened a few years ago, I believe.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
Which took
the
whole
footage of
fleet
that
out.
rig going down was insane, wasn't it?
Yeah. But basically, you've got these flying catamarans, trimaran, multis, flying monohulls, massive sails to try and get around this 120 mile, whatever it is, as quick as they can.
Love it. Love it.
Long race.
We need to encourage that sort of behaviour. That's those sort of races, all those different ideas. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Good.
It's a long one, but it'll be a good one. So I'm going to be watching that with interest. Obviously, there'll be a bit of stuff coming out about that, but lots of good fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Punchy.
Anything else, boys?
No, that's me.
No,
Signed
I'll
off.
get my guitar, eh?
Get your guitar. Hang on.
All right. So wait on. Okay. We'll be back in a sec.
For all the Aussies, hope you had a great Kings weekend. Kings
It
weekend
wasn't
holiday.
all Aussies. It wasn't all Aussies, mate. A few of you.
Huh?
We didn't get it.
Well, you don't get a public holiday.
Yeah, but
Not in
you're
Queensland.
Queenslander.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not Aussie.
Yeah.
We
I
have to
guess so.
work. Someone's got to make the income for the rest of you Aussies, Keep budgets.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Well, they don't celebrate it in the UK either.
All right. Cool. Next week, be a big one.
Next week.
Safe travels for everybody. Thanks for listening. Reach out to us at cheers@barkarati.com and you can win some stuff from Bikobi.
Send us some videos.
The videos, the audio,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff. And of course, jump onto Radix Nutrition and use Barkarati as the discount code and live healthy. We'll do it BP's way.
Do it my way. What is the term?
Slide that with the slide.